Okay, folks, welcome to Market Technical Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com for October 22nd, 2007. Well, just like Friday was an unbelievably crazy day, Monday did not disappoint. We saw the market overall moving to the upside after a major gap down in all indexes. And just to give you guys a little sense, this is the intraday chart of the ES futures. This is the S&P futures, which we follow to give us a better sense of where the market goes. Those of you that don't have it can use the SPY or the Nasdaq, whatever you prefer. The only thing with the ES futures, the S&P futures, it gives you an overnight account as well. They trade from 4:30 to 4:15 the following day, so almost 24 hours a day. And there's only a 15-minute break there that they're not trading. So you can get a general sense. And last night we saw, based on the Asia drop, we saw continued selling in the futures. And let me see if I can go back here and we'll show you. Alright. Basically you had the futures trading all the way down here, basically underneath 1500, and they continued to trade there until this morning. And right around the market open, we saw a gap down in this market, and you can see right here, this is where we were. The Nasdaq gapped down about 20 points, and right away we started to rally. And you can see the rally that took place here. There was major buying right down here. Look at the volume. Major buying took us up. We then sold off hard again, whipping us right back down. We then rallied again, and notice what line we're staying on here. We're staying on the 20 moving average most of the day, except this one point where we dipped lower. We then rallied off the 50 moving average right here. So again, let me go to my trend tool so we can really annotate here and show what's going on. Okay? And what I'm going to do here is, let's look at this. So we had the initial gap down here. We bounced up hard, sold right to that 20 moving average, bounced up again, sold, and bounced up again. Now, we know this type of pattern, a little W pattern here. We sold again. This time it faked a lot of people out. They thought, oh, well, this is finally a breakdown, because you can see we took out this support line right here. All right, the 20 moving average was working as a support trend line, and we bounced off it multiple times here, breaking it here. The key here, though, is that underneath that support line, you had the 50 moving average not much lower, and that was another level support. So even if you did go short here, the downside reward there was very, very small. And as you see, we bounced off that. We rallied going all the way back above that trend line, and we trading sideways here to slightly positive after hours. Now, after hours, we have had Apple's earnings and Texas Instruments, two big tech bellwethers here. And to give you a sense, I'll show you what Apple's doing here, as I do on most days. And you can see Apple closed at 174 and change, and it is trading up about $10 after hours. Now, this is at about a little before 5 o'clock on the East Coast. So who knows where it will be by 8 o'clock tonight when after hours shuts down, or tomorrow morning. But it is getting a nice boost here. The futures are up on that. However, Texas Instruments, little side note here, it closed at 34.27, and it is trading down a little over $1 after hours, 33.20 by 33.22. So that gives you a sense. So Texas Instruments didn't do as well as the market expected. Apple outperformed. All right? So that gives us a little sense. Now, Apple was the big one, and I've been saying this over the weekend, is that Apple here, tech has been the strongest out there, and as long as Apple does well, tech should remain strong until something upsets that balance. And today, Apple is showing us that it is going to remain strong, and this should keep us in the upside bias for technology. Now, we had an interesting day, as I pointed out here, and there's a couple things I want to show you on the daily that I'm going to get into, and we're going to get right into that here. First off, I want to go back to the whole channel idea that we had here. Now, here's the channel. And this is a rough channel, and you guys know we had an upward portion here, basically parallel, and we were bouncing up and down. And this is all stuff I've shown you guys over the last few videos. Now, we finally broke out below that channel. However, this is showing us that we have a new channel forming. We did break this current channel, so this line will be resistance now, okay? Whatever line is support, so support, 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 when it breaks it, if it comes back up to test that, that becomes resistance. All right, so resistance becomes support, support becomes resistance once they're broken. Now, the other thing I want to point out here is we got a couple other things going on. And I want to point out that we have a possible trend line forming here. Okay, folks, I just drew in those lines there, and I'm going to erase our prior, or I'll erase this one up here, and I'll show you where I got these lines from. And this is all stuff you can be doing. Going back here, what you want to do is you want to take the top there and draw a trend line straight over. And then what I want to do is I took this bottom level, and notice how these coincide here with this top here, and then we'll go all the way over and just watch as these things coincide. All right, so again, it coincides here, and look at where this is coinciding at a double top on the futures. So this is the new channel, and notice how we came down here and we hit that channel. We broke through it today, and this candle will form by tomorrow, and you'll see it, but we did not close below. So this is the new channel I'm seeing here. All right, and for now we're staying in between. We topped out there, and this is based on the double top back here and the bottom over here. And what we will want to watch is to see whether or not this trend breaks down here. We close below, we could see more downside, and the downside could possibly take us all the way back down here. That would not shock me to see a sell-off down to there, folks. However, as long as we stay in this channel, you got to assume we're going to bounce up and down. And really the channel will be from here to here, because this is going to be resistance. All right? Now what can happen is this line will continue to move higher. As you see, it's on an upward slant, and this line will stay flat. So at some point over here, maybe out a week or two, they're going to meet these two lines. Should we not have broken down by then we can possibly see these two lines coincide and maybe break out. But for the near term, this is the channel you're watching now. All right, so we had this channel angled up, we broke it. Now a new channel has formed that we're finding on the support and resistance lines, on our trend lines, and that's going to be the one to watch. Now I want to show you the Nasdaq, because the Nasdaq has obviously been a lot stronger. And the Nasdaq again had that channel, and if we want to draw it in here, you can look at it from, let's do a better one than that. We can watch it right from here. Now, interestingly enough, what I'm going to show you here, now you see that we touched the bottom of that channel and we bounced up here. And where did we top out? Right there. Today we closed on the Nasdaq, and notice we closed right on the 20 moving average. Now the key is here is that we're probably going to gap up tomorrow, but do we close above or below it by the end of tomorrow? Now as of now, it's looking like these futures are going to gap up slightly, but it's a little premature to say that we're going to end up or down tomorrow depending on these earnings. All right, we haven't really filtered through them yet. The market is very light volume after hours, and we won't really get a reaction until tomorrow. That is going to be the next thing to watch. In addition, you can watch, because we're still in this upward channel now, all right, on here. All right, and you're going to watch now to see if we break lower, and then if we do break lower, we're going to go to that 50 moving average, which should be decent support, and if not, we should bounce up on the Nasdaq and head back toward the top of this range. So again, you're still watching the same old range on the Nasdaq, but on the ES, the S&P futures, the SPY, a new range has formed, a flatter range. And that's again because the SPY, the ES futures are weaker than the Nasdaq. Alright, so again, we're going to continue to watch those. And what I also like to point out is just some odds and ends to watch for tomorrow. We do have a nice extensive list of watch lists for day trading based off Apple's earnings, and that will be discussed in the chat room. A few were mentioned here after hours, right before, as we were watching Apple's earnings come out. And the fireworks should be very good tomorrow. There's going to be volatility. There's no shortage of volatility in this market. The only thing I do caution is that expecting this market to just run back to new highs. That's what I feel like everyone's expecting, because that's happened multiple times now. Ever since the fall in February, where we bottomed out in March, early March, we ran back to new highs. Then we fell again in late July and early August. Then we ran back to new highs. Now the question is, does the big money make it look like that's going to happen and reverse it? All right, and that's going to be where it's going to be interesting here, because you don't want to get caught off guard. Eventually, at some point, they're not going to rush this market to new highs. They're going to take a little more of a breather and punish people for expecting that. Whenever it gets too easy, and that's the question here, is it too easy? Because whenever it gets too easy, that's when it does the opposite. All right, the first two times here, people were very cautious getting back in the market. Now people are a little more calm and saying, okay, we're going to go right back to new highs. To me, that's telling me that the sentiment is overly bullish in some instances, and that could be a negative. So I do caution. For me personally, I'm staying very cautious here. We did expect this sell-off as the stochastics had topped out here, and I always like to point that out. Is that you see the flatlining of the stochastics? That was what kept me from buying from up here. Plus, we were near the upper end of that channel. All right, we got the fall here. We bottomed out over here, and then you can see the stochastics at least have come down at this point. So we will continue to monitor that and see what happens. There were a few good day trades in the chat room. The market's been a little slower because of the volatility, all right? And that's a little more, you have to be a little more cautious as a day trader, which really brings out the discipline of the chat room and keeping everyone and each other, we keep each other in check, which is a great thing. And I do strongly recommend to come join the chat room. It's a very solid way to learn how to invest in swing trade or day trade, whichever your preference, because it's an open forum. Everyone participates, everyone helps out, and I really do appreciate that from everyone that's in there. In addition, you can ask any question of me or my partner, Nick, and we do go over everything. Also, I'd just like to point out, again, swing trades, another great day for the swing trades. We had a couple that moved even more in the money on those plays, and we continue to look for outs on those very shortly as we are up nice percentages. The other thing I just always want to point out is that this is only my opinion in this video, and please take it as that. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell any securities or go long or short anything, and you should always consult your financial advisor, as your financial advisor will know much better than me on what you should do based on your financial levels. Have a wonderful day, guys. Be watchful tomorrow of Apple. Apple and Texas Instruments are going to shape tech tomorrow, and it looks like Apple's winning here as it is up $10 after hours. It should be a fun day trading day tomorrow. The swing trade alerts, come join us, and we will see you soon. Take care.